on Erie's home for breaking news and informative talk, talkerie.com.
Punch it.
Erie. It's Monday, October 21st. Welcome back for another episode of Flagship City Sports Talk, brought to you by Quick Fill. My name is Nick Arman, and I got to throw, even before I bring anybody else in, I got to throw a quick shout out to my son, Arco. Happy birthday, buddy. 9 years old, going crazy today.
You did the good dad thing.
All hopped up. You know, he's got the Halloween candy flowing through him, and you know what you do? Send him to school. Send him to school. That's what you do. Send him to school. So happy birthday, Arco. But we got a lot of stuff we want to get into today. As always, I'm joined by the Honorable Paul Adams. Paul, how you doing, buddy?
Doing great, man. Had a great weekend. Fired up for another Monday.
I am too. I'm fired up today. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's Arco's birthday. I don't know if it's football. I don't know if I had some Russ's cooking. I don't know what it is.
It's all of the above, man.
And in the big chair, we have the great and powerful Rich Smith. Rich, what's up, buddy?
Not a whole lot. Had a great weekend.
Camping. Camping.
I was hoping that you do that in unison. Like I can.
We'll work on it. We'll do a little countdown next time. Where were you at this weekend?
We went over to Camp Sherwin, right there on the lake.
Yeah,
a beautiful weekend. I mean, it really was awesome.
Oh, the weather was incredible.
It was great. Hopefully, we get a few more like this.
Yeah. We had a trunk or treat at McLean Church out in Edinburgh on Saturday.
Nice.
And it was so hot. And you know, you plan your Halloween costumes like I don't. My wife does. Plans our family Halloween costumes, right? So we go as Moana this year, like a family theme as Moana. So I got like the Maui like suit on, you know. I'm sitting in the sun
Pixar
with like.
Didn't happen, Nick.
No, I'll show you the pics. We can put those out on social, buddy. I filled that costume out.
Thinner.
I filled that costume out nice. But I wore this long hair, like black wig. And we got Jonathan Williams in the studio today. I'll bring him in a second. I don't know how you do that because after being bald for so many years, hair is just annoying.
Yes,
so we'll throw some pics out. I'll prove it to you.
I can't wait, man.
Speaking of Jonathan Williams, back in the studio with us today from the Gem City Sports Network. Jay Will, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good, man. It was a bit of a struggle rolling out of bed this morning, but we made it here. We made it here on time, so I'm doing good, man.
Jay Will's not a morning person, but we drag him out when Isaac can't make it in. He comes in studio. So
Jay Will is the resident night owl, so they have him here. Right, the late night shows. Jay Will is like
I'm all over it.
Yeah, but when you were his age, we were too.
That's true. That's true.
Speaking of the Gem City Sports Network, we have joined the Gem City Sports Network. You can follow along on socials at Gem City SN. We got a lot of stuff going on with that as well. Not only do we broadcast here live on Talk Erie and talkerie.com, but we also live on YouTube throughout the week. We got shows all throughout the week, but let's focus on today. We got a lot to get into. Let's jump into the North Shore Rewind, brought to you by Duskus Funeral Home. All right, as we do, we're picking our D10 players of the week. And before we do, I want to throw out, this is per Tom Reisenweber. Congrats to all, this is a tweet that he put out, and I want to echo this. Congrats to all the D10 football region champions. He compiled the list, so I want to give him credit for it. Yep. In Region 1, Farrell. Region 2, Greenville. Region 3, Mercyhurst Prep. In 4, Sharon. In 5, we had a three-way share between Corey, Fairview, and Fort LaBeouf. In Region 6, GM, and Region 7, McDowell. Congrats to all the D10 football region champs this year. It's been a lot of fun to follow along.
Region
this
5,
year.
Man. What are
you gonna do?
What a circus.
Well, and we talked about this on the Thursday show. If you missed it, go back and check it out on YouTube. But it what do you do for the AAA playoffs? It's gonna be crazy.
And it's all gonna come down to the District 10 committee, how they rank them and all that. And it's gonna be crazy. Isaac, we talked about this a couple of weeks ago. How is that 1 through 8 going to go?
Yeah.
Are there going to be any Erie County teams hosting?
Yeah.
It'll be fun.
It's going to be fun to look at, you know, and if anything, we know that the D10 committee is rational.
Rational and consistent yearly. Yeah. Nobody will complain, probably.
Like I said Thursday, y'all make those guys sound like the college football playoffs.
Don't get Paul started on a Monday morning.
Listen, I'll be sent to I'm Dr. Artman.
I'm just saying, like right now, a week from today, I'm going to come in hot. I just know it.
I'm already looking forward to it. Something
Sunday
to look
night,
forward to.
I'm just going to be like, what?
All right. Well, let me kick this off because I want to give some love to some players we haven't talked about, but we have to talk about this guy again. Vinny, the Don Feliciano. Vinny carried the ball 21 times for 300 yards and 4 touchdowns in a 48-21 win over Eisenhower. Per Tom Reisenweber, this puts him over 2,000 rushing yards this season. What an incredible year. You know, we talked early week 1. I remember having this conversation with Isaac. I don't remember if it was on this show or just in conversation, but we talked about who's going to replace that Ethan Knox hype in rushing. I think Feliciano's your guy.
Somehow we get a sophomore that does it.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
It's gonna be insane. I hope, you know, we got 2 more years of this. I'm excited to see where he takes this.
And we talked a little bit before the show. When we pick players weekly, we try not to pick the same guys over and over. We like to spread the love, like to share a lot of the names because there's a lot of good football players in District 10.
Yeah.
But some guys just seem to consistently every week outdo themselves from the week before.
Yeah.
And we gotta bring them up again. And Feliciano's one of those guys because there's a ton of big performances this past Friday and Saturday.
Yeah.
And I've got a list of 6 guys here, and Feliciano, he's near the top, man.
Yeah, when you run for almost 15 yards a carry and 4 touchdowns, I mean, that's
Yeah.
you got to talk about it. But like you said, we got a lot of guys we want to hit this morning. So, Paul, why don't you go ahead and go next?
I'll start with this one. I think this one's pretty good. Rylan Harwood from Seneca. Okay, he ran for 144 yards on 15 carries, had a hand in 3 total touchdowns. He threw 1, ran for 1, and caught 1.
Hat trick.
And a 33-0 win over Iroquois. We call that the Terrell Pryor game because he had a touchdown all 3 phases on the offensive side of the ball. Unbelievable game for Rylan Harwood.
Yeah, and Seneca is another one of those teams just looking great to finish out the season. They're going to be
started out great, rocky in the middle, finishing strong at the end when you want to play your best football in time for the playoffs.
Yeah. I mean, and that again, you know, Region 3, they're pushing Mercyhurst Prep for you know, it's going to be an interesting. If they face off in the playoffs, I think it'll be an interesting game.
It was a good game when they met up earlier this year. Mercyhurst got the win in that one. Feliciano ran wild, but you know, Harwood was good in that one as well. And like, you know, the second time you play somebody, things often are different. Now you've seen them, you know how it feels. The play you went to in the first game, well, they're ready for that now. What do you have? What's the counter to that? So it'll be interesting.
No, I like it. All right, Jay, well, who's yours?
I'm gonna go Cathedral Prep Charbel is 2. 112 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 rushing, 1 receiving, and helped close out a really hotly contested game against General McLean. I was at that game with Isaac, and that game had me on the edge of my seat the entire time. So definitely a solid performance and a clutch performance to pull out that win against a really good GM squad. Yeah,
I mean, it was like you just said this, and then Paul was talking about this earlier today. It was that type of game that even if you weren't a prep or GM fan, you would go catch this game because it was going to be such a good game. You know, and it was back and forth. It was tight until the second half whenever prep just scored 3 unanswered drives. And that was just hard to overcome. So, and also in that game, I think you could have went either way. You could have went Latouf, or you could have went Desari Carson, who also ran for 100 yards and 2 touchdowns on 9 carries. So, you know, not to pull an Isaac and do a twofer, but I'll follow up Jay Will on that one.
Can
Paul,
I give you another one here?
I was going to say, Paul, you got another one?
Yeah, we're going to go down to Crawford County, Mercer County, actually. Xander Telez of Hickory, maybe the player of the week, actually. 383 yards through the air, 7 touchdown passes, 56-0 win over Slippery Rock. 383 yards passing, 7 touchdowns. Those are Madden numbers, okay? Madden on rookie. That's incredible.
Yeah, just put him with Feliciano, and it's, you know.
Ooh, that's an all-star team.
That's insane. 7 touchdowns to get 7 touchdowns total in a D10 football game is a lot. But for the entire team. Right. But then to have one person, oh man.
7 touchdowns, like a 4 touchdown game is pretty good.
Yeah.
7 touchdowns is crazy.
7 is ridiculous.
Can I give you a few more from south of your border?
Rip them off.
All right. Ike Friday from Sharon. How about this guy? 25 carries, 310 yards, 5 touchdowns. They put 63 on Titusville.
What is in the water down there?
Yeah, seriously, can we get it up here?
Yeah, really.
I'm not sure. Here's another one. Stephen Heiss, Oil City, ran for 183 yards, 5 touchdowns on 22 carries. They romped 48-6 over Franklin. And I've got one last one here.
Go ahead.
This guy's pretty good. 4 touchdowns for Jordan Lawrence of Meadville. He ran for 3 touchdowns and then returned a fumble for a touchdown. So offensive and defensive touchdowns, 4 total touchdowns, and a 56-7 win for Meadville over Warren.
Hold on.
Big performances.
Let me throw one more at you.
Heck yeah.
Nolan Carey.
You got 30 seconds.
Nolan Carey from Corey.
That's who I had too. Go for it.
14 of 23, 221 yards, 4 touchdowns, and a 28-7 win over Harbor Creek.
And then this is per Tom Reisenweber too, giving him a lot of props this morning. Those guys do great work over at Go Erie. Corey secures its second region title, the other one coming in 2012. So a long time coming for Corey. Yeah, I had Carrie down there too. All right, that was the North Shore Rewind, brought to you by Duska's Funeral Home. We got to take a break. But when we get back, we're talking basketball in October. I'm here for it. You're listening to Flagship City Sports Talk, brought to you by Quick Fill.
Since 1940.
At Quickfill. Quickfill, driving America.
Welcome back. You're listening to Flagship City Sports Talk, brought to you by Quick Fill. Listen, we got a poll going up at the Gem City Sports Network X page. If you go to @GemCitySN, talking about some Steelers quarterbacks, go vote on that one. We'll get into that before we round out the hour. But before we get into football, I do want to talk about some basketball. I know that sounds a little weird, but for those of you that have listened to the show for a while, we've talked about Kayla McBride. Actually made it onto our Erie Sports Mount Rushmore. And we want to talk about this game because of a whole bunch of different reasons, but more importantly, to give Kayla McBride and the Minnesota Lynx some love here as they send the New York Liberty to Game 5. Unfortunately, they were not able to pull out the win. The New York Liberty win their first WNBA championship with a 67-62 overtime victory against the Minnesota Lynx in Game 5 of the finals. This was tough for me because I really wanted to watch this game, but it was the same time as the Monday night game for the Steelers. So I'm constantly flipping back and forth, and I'm trying to not be frustrated with Russ in that first half. So it was an up and down first half. So halftime hits, I turn it over to try and find some peace in the WNBA game. And it was more chaotic. Okay, let me back this up, and I've talked about this before on this show, but the last 2 minutes of Any professional basketball game is the worst 2 minutes in sports. I can't stand it. I hate the whole let's foul them, let's slow it down, let's push them to the free throw line. It is like supposed to be the most exciting point of the game, and it was just I could. And this was another one. The Liberty Lynx game was another one. Brianna Stewart sealed the win with 2 free throws with 10.1 seconds remaining in overtime after a pass steal by Leano Fajbic allowed the Liberty to dribble out the clock. But here's the thing. Okay, with 5 seconds left in the fourth quarter, Lynx are leading 60-58. Alana Smith is called for a questionable foul on Liberty star Brianna Stewart. I think that's putting it mildly.
Very.
Brianna Stewart goes up to take the shot. Smith gets her hand up, and it's like they're giving a high five in midair. Their hands touch. And when you look at it from the one angle, it looked like a foul. So, okay, you give the refs, you give them some props there, and you say, okay. But then they put it over to review. And here's the rule. The WNBA rulebook says this, quote, incidental contact with the hand against an offensive player shall be ignored if it does not affect the player's speed, quickness, balance, or rhythm. So when you watch the broadcast camera, it does look like it maybe affects the shot in some way that you can call the foul. But when they show the replay and they're showing from the behind the glass view and then they're showing the team bench view, it did none of that. It did not affect the player's speed, quickness, balance, and or rhythm. Unfortunately, they push it to a challenge. It was an unsuccessful challenge. Stewart goes to the line, sinks 2 after having a pretty rough game overall, and they go 60-60 into the overtime win. And the Lynx just don't score in overtime, and it goes to the Liberty. A back and forth game. It was a crazy game. This is my favorite stat of the night, though. The Liberty's victory ended New York's long professional basketball drought, the last title coming in from the New York Knicks in 1973. Paul, I'm going to throw it to you. Just kind of reactions from the game. However you kind of want to take that out. Let's talk about the foul.
Yeah,
because I think any way you look at a championship game, you can't, or any game, you can't. And I've said this before, even when we're talking NFL, you cannot blame one call to hurt the game. But man, it looked like the Lynx were digging out of a hole the entire game.
Cheryl Reeve, the coach for the Lynx, was not happy about it. She went on blast. She's going to get fined today about her comments after the game. I'm not saying that she didn't have a reason to be upset, though. I think the free throw disparity is certainly concerning. 25 free throw attempts for the Liberty versus only 8 for Minnesota, and 6 of those 8 were taken by Kayla McBride, and she said 6 for 6. But I think across all sports, and I complain about this in football all the time, when you're calling fouls on one side, penalties against one side, and not seemingly calling them on the other, I think fan bases, again, regardless of sport, seem to notice that disparity and certainly get upset about it. And then the call right at the end, as Reeves so eloquently put it in the post-game conference, she goes, after the game, that's a clip that they will send to the league. And she goes, we'd send that clip in. They would say, yeah, that's incidental contact. That's not a foul. Overturned. Yeah, you're fine going forward. Which in a regular season or even a playoff game, you kind of go, well, thanks. It doesn't really mean anything now, but I guess we have, there's always tomorrow. In game 5 of the finals, there is no tomorrow. And it was a really questionable call at a really high leverage moment in that game. I know she's upset.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily disagree with her points. But as you said, I got to go back to a game is more than the sum of just one play with 2 seconds left in the game.
Yeah.
It really unfortunate. Nafisha Collier, really the star for the Lynx. Kayla McBride is an excellent number 2.
Yep.
Fisher Collier took 23 shots in that game. And another wild stat that came out, she's never played a game, high school, college, WNBA, where she's taken 20 shots or more and didn't get to the free throw line, which happened last night. So just kind of one of those things, a statistical anomaly that you go, man, if it happened in any other game, you kind of go, that's unfortunate, but at least there's tomorrow.
Yeah.
So, congratulations to the Liberty. Brianna Stewart, she's no slouch. She's been a household name since her time at UConn. So good for New York, good for the WNBA that a team in the flagship media city gets a championship that they get to talk about and broadcast and promote for the next 3 to 6 months. Disappointing for the Lynx. I was really rooting for McBride because she's got all these international titles. She's got high school titles. She went to 4 championship games in college and came up empty all 4 times. So this is unfortunately not something she's kind of used to it. It never feels any better, but she's still young. Minnesota's going to bring back all 5 of their starters next year. This would have been their 5th title under Reeve as head coach.
Yeah.
She's coming back next year too. They're going to have another.
The
bite
starting
at the
5's
apple.
coming back next year too.
Yes.
I'm going to go a little bit more extreme in my take for this.
Oh, I love
it because I'm a tad bit of a WNBA fan. I'm a Las Vegas Aces fan, so I watch a little bit of WNBA.
So you're unbiased.
Oh, no, completely.
Aces because that's where
Aces
McBride went first.
Well, Aces because that's where Asia Wilson plays, and
Okay.
Asia Wilson's from South Carolina. The whole connection.
There you go.
I went to USC for a while. That whole 9 yards, but this game just kind of felt like it was scripted for New York to win. And you've had
that word scripted.
You've had this Liberty team that's been a powerhouse franchise, but hasn't been able to get over the hump for the last few years. They finally bounced the Aces out this season in the postseason, and it just felt like the referees were not going to let this team lose this game. They're finally on this big stage. It's finally their opportunity to break through, and then it's kind of hard to argue that point when not only did they have the foul call on that play, they missed a travel on that play when Breonna Stewart caught the ball. I don't know if anyone else noticed that. She caught the ball and did the Cupid shuffle before she even put the ball down on the floor to go up for that shot. And then post game, you have your commissioner, Kathy Engelbert, come out in a New York City skyline dress.
That one is really
that's a little questionable.
What are we doing?
Vince McMahon style.
like tell me it's rigged without telling me it's rigged. Tell me you wanted New York to win without telling me.
Did she have a change of clothes on the back? If Minnesota would have won,
did she wear that the whole game?
America dress?
She was wearing that from
a cat dress, a Lynx outfit, a Lynx onesie. Yeah, we got to wrap up because we got to hit the 2-minute drill. But congratulations to the Liberty. I do expect McBride and the Lynx to get back. McBride had a chance to tie to take the lead in the last closing seconds on a 3, and it looked great, and then it just happened to fall short. Paul, let's finish it out with the 2-minute drill. You ready?
Ready. 3 straight wins for the Otters gave them their first three-peat of the season before falling to London 3-1 last night on the road. Noah Erdelin and Charlie Burns both playing well in the net for the Otters, a welcome change from the uncertainty of the crease Erie played with them last season. Into high school, Adam Dahl of Mercyhurst Prep scored the first 3 of 9 total Laker goals in a win over Iroquois to clinch a share of Region 4. Ayanna Thompson from Northeast scored the lone goal in a 1-0 victory at Titusville to clinch Region 5 in soccer. Let's go to girls tennis. Paige Patsy of Cathedral Prep. Her straight set victory at first singles led Cathedral Prep's 5-0 victory in District 10 Class 2A team final. How about girls cross country? Devin Agnello of Girard won homecoming queen, then topped Tuesday's field with a winning time of 19:55 in a dual meet against Fort LaBeouf. Off to college. Edinburgh Volleyball defeated Slippery Rock 3-1 with Michaela Nealons leading the Scots with 12 kills, while Abigail Soboleski reached 1,000 career assists and Carly Pry contributed 22 digs in a key service ace. The number 2 Penn State Barron women's tennis team claimed the 2024 AMCC championship with a 4-0 win over number 1 seed Pitt Greensburg. Lindsay Curlin's 6-0 victory championship sealed the match, earning Barron its first title since 2000. Curlin and teammate Anissa Silkovich were named to the all-tournament team. Gannon Men's Golf captured their first ever PSAC title, winning by a dominant 40-stroke margin. Mattia Perini led the way with an 8-under 208 to claim the individual title, helping Gannon secure a 9-under 855 team total. That marked their 5th consecutive tournament win of this fall season. The Mercyhurst women's hockey team upset number 6 Cornell with a 2-1 victory at the Mercyhurst Ice Center. And of course, the Cleveland Guardians fell 5-2 in 10 innings and lose the ALCS to the New York Yankees after a 3-run blast from the Yanks' Juan Soto in the 10th.
What a tough weekend for Cleveland sports.
Oh, yeah, it was hard. It was hard. I don't know if they feel like bittersweet almost a little bit toward the end of that one. We'll talk about it.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
tough
Oh
week
yeah,
in
we
Cleveland.
definitely got some Browns talk. Unfortunately, Guardians couldn't pull that out. Before we take a break, though, I want to take a second and thank all of our sponsors: Quick Fill, Duskus Funeral Home, Dauber Auto Supply, John's Wildwood Pizza, Denny's Sales and Service. Without them, we wouldn't be here for you. When we get back, we are going to talk about some of those Rust Belt NFL Week 7 headlines. You're listening to Flagship City Sports Talk, brought to you by Quick Fill.
Maverick Mindset
70s. I'm meteorologist Kelly Rowland with your Erie News Now first warning weather update on Erie's home for breaking news and informative talk, TalkErie.com.
Welcome back. You're listening to Flagship City Sports Talk, brought to you by Quickfill. Again, if you haven't already, head over to X. Look up the Gem City Sports Network at Gem City SN. Check out the poll of the day as we talk or want to talk about Steelers quarterback situation, but not in this segment. I'm not ready. I want to push it off a little more. I still haven't decided where I come down on that. I still haven't written my headline for the Steelers game yet. That's how I'm still just kind of in flux here a little bit.
Oh, I got one for you.
But hold it. We'll just hold it to the end. But first, I do want to talk about the Browns. So let's get into the Rust Belt rundown. All right, I'm going to go first. Here's my headline for the Browns game. Quarterback play the Achilles heel of the Browns as they fall 21-14 to the Bengals.
Ah, I see what you did there.
Too soon? Too soon? No?
Maybe.
Browns quarterback Deshaun Watson suffered an apparent season-ending Achilles tendon injury on Sunday in the first half of a 21-14 loss to the Cincinnati Bengals. Watson was 15 of 17 for 128 yards before he went down. And I don't know if you guys watched the replay, but you could see the calf ripple. And all the sports doctors on Twitter. It was the Kevin Durant
thing where it rippled, and you go, "Oh, that was it snapping."
Yeah, yeah.
I hate that.
And then I think keep it classy, Cleveland. But then to the boos of the Browns, you have Myles Garrett talking about it after the game. Winston taking a 5-minute WWE promo at the end of the game about it. I mean, a bad look for Cleveland as a city, as a fan base. But okay, if you're Cleveland, here's the question: where do you go from here? What do you do now? Watson is likely out for the season. Hasn't been confirmed yet that I've seen. Let me check notes. Nope, nothing yet. But I mean, Watson's done for the year. Where do you go from here as a Cleveland fan base, or even let's forget the fans, because fans are fickle, as I am a Steelers. What do you do as a team for the rest of the year? What are your hopes here now? What do you do? What do you put on the field?
Can we fast forward to the draft?
They finally have a first-round pick again. Yeah,
fair. Amen, brother.
Like you have, you went the DTR route because you made Jameis Winston your emergency third quarterback before the game,
which was bizarre in and of itself.
Yeah, I didn't know what all of that was about, and then DTR gets hurt, so Jameis winds up playing anyway. It's a mess, and you just hold on until the end of the season. Honestly, you show up, you play the games that are on your schedule, and you try to make it out of the season as healthy as possible.
Yeah,
this is truly a unique and almost like a no-win situation for the Browns. This is when this happens, because Cleveland isn't the first team to lose a quarterback and have some options behind them. What the Browns organization is going to try to do now is balance how much do we want to see DTR? What do we have in this guy? Do we have a chance to build trade value with this young quarterback, young signal caller? Or do we roll with Jameis Winston, who we know? The team knows, the front office knows, the players know. Jameis Winston is more capable of playing right now good reps, right? He is. But the juxtaposition to that is, okay, well, we've got the better quarterback. Why don't you just obviously play him? Well, because with Jameis Winston, even if you go 500, even if you win 3 out of 4, go 750 for the rest of the season, what pick does that get you in the draft? You're 1-6 right now. What do you pick 16th through 20th? Is that where you're going to take your quarterback? Is in the outside of the top 15? Probably not best for the long-term outlook of the Cleveland Browns.
Right. Unless
you're like, nope, Jameis is our guy for the next couple of years. We'll take a really good tackle at 17, and we'll just kind of build the football team from there. I say a no-win situation because, like I said, Jameis Winston, he's obviously the better quarterback.
Yeah.
The coaches, the players, they all know, hey, if we go out there Sunday with Jameis, we have a better chance to win than playing DTR. While playing DTR, you have a worse chance of winning the game, but you likely lose more games to get you a better pick in the draft.
Which will be curious because DTR is rumored to have broken his thumb on his throwing hand in the injury that he sustained on Sunday. So he may not be able to play. So then you're forced to play Winston. Or, and this is per The Athletic, with cash spending totaling more than $337 million. This is the most expensive roster in NFL history. Even if they do go on some sort of fire sale before the November 5th trade deadline, you're still in cap
hell.
Yeah, for next year, and you're trying to figure out what to do. So for me, it makes more sense.
They set themselves up for that.
I agree, and they're getting everything they deserve, in my opinion, as a team, but as an ownership, not necessarily the players. But what do you do? So maybe you ship out Winston to a place like Miami. Sorry, Paul.
Tua comes back next week. Doesn't make sense.
You kind of have some different players that you could ship off that are a little bit older. You could
Everyone
get a haul
says
for Myles Garrett.
Absolutely.
It'll be curious to kind of see what they do. Their season is done. It's over. Hang it up. Do the smart thing. Throw it to DTR, no pun intended, if you can. Let them ride out the season, see what you have, go into next year, revamp for next year, because there's no way that this team is coming out of the AFC North at this point.
I just look at the other side of that coin is if you try to go like really bad, how much of the coaching staff can you bring back? Because you talk about the fans in Cleveland. Fickle is not the word I'd use.
Right.
Because they haven't had a whole lot of experience, winning experience in 25 years. And yet that stadium becomes packed every weekend, man.
Yeah.
They are not fickle fans. They are angry fans.
Yeah.
They are passionate fans.
That's okay.
I don't know about fickle.
They're moving to a new stadium in a couple years anyway.
The Brook Park Browns. That's right.
All right, let's jump over to Buffalo. Who's got a headline for the Bills game? Jay Will, you got one?
As far as the Bills game, it is go straight.
Go straight. Paul, you have one?
Well, mine makes a little less sense because I was going with like a 90s TV show theme. So I had one for the Browns that was for like Tool time. Remember? It was everybody know what time it is? Tillman time, because Cedric Tillman had a great game. So here's my one for the Bills. Do you remember that TV show with Mark Curry in the 90s?
Yeah.
Hanging with Mr. Cooper.
Listen,
that's mine is hanging with Mr. Cooper.
Listen,
as Amari Cooper, 6 catches and a touchdown.
Yep.
In his Bills debut.
I went the same route. Josh Allen is hanging with Mr. Cooper
there you go.
As new look Bills smash Titans 34-10. It's like we've been doing this show together for a while. This is per ESPN. Allen celebrated his 100th career start with his 26th 300-yard outing while finishing 21 of 33 for 323 and 2 touchdowns. Now, Jay, I'm going to come to you here first because this was a tale of two halves. They started out a little rocky in the early part of this game, and then they end up scoring 31 unanswered points, I think, in the second half or something like that. Is that just Josh Allen heating up, or does a guy like Amari Cooper throw off the offense that much that it just maybe took them 2 quarters to get in sync?
It's not even – I don't feel like it's that Amari Cooper comes in and throws off the offense, but it does take a second to kind of get adjusted. It takes a second to gel.
Right.
It takes a second to get guys involved, especially when guys have only had 4 practices with the team, and they're still learning the playbook and everything like that. So for me, it was more, okay, adjustment period. Okay, we have Amari Cooper now. How do we want to get him involved? What is the defense giving us now that we have Keon Coleman and Amari Cooper lining up on the field right next to each other? What kind of looks are we getting now that are different than what we've been getting with other guys? So it was just kind of that feeling out process. And once they figured out what they were getting, once they figured out what looks Tennessee was showing them defensively, floodgates open.
Yeah. And, we didn't even really talk about this because it happened on last Tuesday, but the Bills traded a 2025 third-round pick and a 2026 seventh-round pick to the Cleveland Browns in exchange for Cooper and a 2025 sixth. I mean, Cooper didn't have an amazing game. He was 4 receptions for 66 yards and a touchdown, but I think his presence, especially in the second half, was definitely felt. I won't talk about the times when I'm wrong, like I picked the Browns to win the AFC North, but I will absolutely tout it when I'm right. And we were talking last week, and I said I thought Amari Cooper was going to be a great thing for this offense.
He will be,
because it frees up so much. You have a true number one for a defense to lock down on.
Correct.
That takes the pressure off of rookie Keon Coleman for 4 receptions for 125 yards. Mm-hmm. And then Shakir still is 7 for 65. Kincaid is 3 for 52. Now you take that pressure and Allen can really spread that ball around. Sounds like we got a caller. All right, you're on the air.
What's up, boys?
Oh, Isaac Petcash. You can't even take a break whenever you take a Monday off.
Well, no. I didn't want to be accused of oversleeping for this show, so I figured that I might try to call in for a bit. That way, I get my free pass here. What's up? How's the weekend?
Hey, man, we're having fun talking some Bills. What are you doing?
just driving to a couple of locations that I can't quite disclose yet, but we may figure those out later in the week.
Good, love that.
Yeah, how about the Bills? I mean, I got to sleep for an hour at the game before they finally woke up.
Now you were at this game. What did you see? What was kind of what woke the sleeping giant in the second half?
Yeah, I mean, I heard you guys talking about Amari Cooper. I think the biggest thing the Bills did that they didn't do in the first half. The first half, they were lining Amari up a lot outside, right, is the X or the Y outside the numbers. And I think what they changed in the second half and on that touchdown throw is they brought him into the slot. I really like the combo of Amari in the slot, Keon Coleman on the outside, and then Dalton Kincaid got more involved too because that side of the field became open. So I think to your point, Paul, it took Joe Brady probably a quarter and a half to figure things out. But I think that they realized that they have a good makeup of what they can do with putting Amari in the slot, Keon on the outside, and then just trying to open up the middle of the field from there. So kudos to Josh and the offense. I thought they played well. That defense are really underrated in the second half as well. They were just dominant. And I think for Buffalo, now sitting at 5-2, the other three members of the AFC East all lose. I think this division, as we talked about, is pretty much already wrapped up.
Yeah, I can't disagree with you there.
I think to your point, Isaac, I think what Joe Brady and the offense was able to do, the Titans are not a good team, and they knew that they'd have some time to kind of fiddle around with things, try some things out. Like Jonathan said, show them some looks in the first half, see how another team is going to play them with the new addition. And in the second half, they had more than enough time and more than enough horses to, okay, we're going to start trying now. They put up 27 unanswered against, like I said, an underpowered Titans team. They had more than enough to get that victory, and they spent some time just kind of figuring things out a little bit.
I will not stand for this Mason Rudolph hate. Isaac, we only got
It's funny because I sat there in the press box for the first half and thought, where the heck was this Mason in January?
That's fair. Hey, Isaac, we got about 30 seconds left, but quick, are you okay with Russ the rest of the way for the Steelers? You've been pretty heavy on the Fields bandwagon.
Look, man, credit to Paul. He was right last night.
I was waiting for it. Isaac, I thought you dodged this morning because of this.
I am not ready to jump ship. I think it's still Justin's the better option, but credit to Russ. He played a good game. I think he earned at least one more start. And George Pickens, I think, is probably the biggest beneficiary.
Yeah, I agree. Isaac, man, thanks for calling in. Appreciate you. Have a good one.
All right, boys.
All right, we're talking Steelers in the next segment. If you want to call in and talk about Russ versus Fields, 814-679-1080. That's 679-1080. We got to take a break, but when we get back, we're still talking NFL Week 7, specifically Pittsburgh's win over the Jets on Sunday.
When your car makes this sound,
Erie's Choice Awards for 14 consecutive years. John'sWildwoodPizza.com.
Welcome back. You're listening to Flagship City Sports Talk, brought to you by Quick Fill. All right, we saved it to the end. I didn't want to be called a homer, but also we got a lot to talk about in this game. A lot to talk about coming out of Pittsburgh. This game, I don't think went the way anybody wanted it to go, except for Tomlin. I think Tomlin slept well last night. If you want to talk Steelers, give us a call. That's 814-679-1080, 679-1080. Who's got a good headline for this one?
Just because you won doesn't mean you were right.
Are you talking to me? Or
Like, okay, Russell Wilson comes out, has a dud of a first couple of drives. Everybody's pointing the finger at him like, we told you not to start him.
Yeah, I tweeted that too.
And
I regret it.
And then he absolutely lights it up the rest of the way and puts up an abundance of points, and you win the game, and everybody's happy, and everybody's apologized to Russell Wilson and everything like that. Great, wonderful. Russell Wilson had a good performance as an NFL quarterback. I would hope Russell Wilson still knows how to play football as a former Super Bowl winning quarterback.
Yep.
That doesn't make the decision to bench Justin Fields the right decision, though, in my opinion.
Okay.
Like, I feel like a lot of people are using the outcome to justify the decision. And it's like, okay, yeah, that's great. But at the end of the day, I still have a problem with setting the precedent of a quarterback going 4-2 for you, having 10 touchdowns, 1 turnover in those 6 games, and not really doing anything to lose his job and still losing his job. I might be in the minority at this point because now they've played with Russell Wilson and they looked good and they won. I just don't like the message that sends. And especially what happens if, God forbid, anything happens with Russ.
Right.
Russ goes down, anything happens, he plays poorly going forward, and you have to go back to Justin Fields. Now you've destroyed that kid's confidence going forward, where that's the guy you're going to need on your roster, and that's the guy you're going to need to be able to play well if you need to go back to him.
Right. Paul, how say you?
37 points was the most points the Steelers have put up this season. They had 32 a week ago. Couple of stats that jump out at me. Fumbles. No Pittsburgh fumbles. No fumbled snaps. Let's see. He only took 1 sack, a loss of 4 yards. This is kind of more the Russell Wilson I anticipated. And I think it's why I was so on board with Wilson over Fields to start the season, is because and I'll make fun of Isaac because he's not here and he can't defend himself. So I'll make fun of him a little bit. I don't think he's wrong. And I don't think you're wrong because Justin Fields did way better than I anticipated him doing in his 6 starts. But when Russell Wilson was in Seattle and he was successful in winning Super Bowls and making Super Bowls and being 1 play away from winning them, this is the kind of offense that he was in. It was a Darrell Bevel ground and pound, roll out, play action based offense. And he succeeded. When he went to Denver and got that big contract, he got Nathaniel Hackett as head coach, who's coming off coaching Aaron Rodgers to an MVP season. Russell Wilson is not Aaron Rodgers. And then they brought in Sean Payton, and Sean Payton tried to run the Drew Brees offense with Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson's not Drew Brees. Right. So Russell comes down to an Arthur Smith offense where he's under center. He's handed the ball off to a 140-pound running back. He's getting his rollout plays, and he's able to pick levels of the field. This is Russell Wilson offense. This is when he was at his best, and this is what he does well. And I think the thing he does well that's so much out of line with the Justin Fields quarterback ability is that you call it the moonball throws. But I call it he's always been a super, super accurate deep ball passer. He's one of the best deep throwers in the NFL. The ball goes way up, and it comes right down into the basket.
Hands of the receiver.
And he's just always been good at it. That is the element that this offense was missing.
And it worked last night. Rich, we got a caller.
There you go.
All right, you're on the air.
Isaac again?
Yeah, hey, just remember about the quarterback situation. I think it was Super Bowl 9 or Super Bowl 10. They played 3 quarterbacks. It was Terry Hanratty, Gillum, and Bradshaw. So I don't care who they play, just so they win.
So who are you on for the quarterback? Were you a Fields guy, or are you happy with Wilson?
I'm happy with both of them. Just put them in and win. I mean, both of them have talent. I don't have let the coaching be the coaching stuff. You know, they know the dynamics of each quarterback. They've seen them. I haven't seen them in practice. I don't know.
No, that's fair.
I know Wilson's a champion quarterback. Fields got the running. I mean, I was looking at some wide gaps that, man, Fields could have, got the first down there at the first half, stuff like that. But each quarterback brings their own set of skills.
Yeah. No, man, appreciate the call. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
I don't disagree with that sentiment. I think my problem with it is this, and I was on this before the season. Russell Wilson's your starter. I think you should have a package for Justin Fields. The thing that bothers me is the old adage, when you have two quarterbacks, you have none.
Yeah. See, but I think I'm where that caller was at, because I'm trying to decide, like, do I go Russ or Fields next week? I don't think it matters. Look at what we just talked about in Cleveland.
Mm-hmm.
There is nobody there to play quarterback. Okay, so maybe you ride the vet, let Russ play, give him some mentorship under Fields. I think Russ, Tomlin called him the starter all the way back the day they signed him.
Mm-hmm.
He held to his word. He knew that he believed that Russ was going to be the better quarterback. I think that you win the game last night with either quarterback. So I think, yeah, I'm okay with both. Like you said, the quote you just gave. There's also a quote out there that says the number one most important position on your team is the quarterback. The second most important position on your team is the backup quarterback. So I think you're fine to run out Russ. I think Fields knew what his role would be in the offense the entire time. It has always been said that it was Russ. So Fields' feelings may be hurt, like what Jonathan was saying, but he's doing all the right things. He's saying the right things, and realistically, if he wants to wait out a year, let Russ play this year, have Fields get used to the offense, I think that Fields does come back as the starter next year, and you see what Russ can take you. And if Russ goes back, like if Russ falls apart, if he starts cooking McDonald's, then you throw it to Fields, and I think you still have a chance to save the season.
Which is like the whole point of them bringing in Fields to begin with. Is
Agreed.
If Russell Wilson is not good, we actually have a second quarterback,
Yeah.
because they've had to do that the last couple of years. They're not just playing the same quarterback for 16, 17 starts. You got to go to somebody else.
Yeah.
But I look at it this way too, and we haven't talked about this. The defense holds the Jets to 15 points, so under 20 points again.
Yeah.
If Fields plays this game and the Steelers win 18-15, are you as happy today? Do you feel any differently than you do right now?
I probably say go back to Fields. If they sneak out a win,
No. I'm saying not if Russell Wilson wins 18-15. I'm saying if Fields starts that game and the Steelers win this one 18-15, because Fields, he doesn't put up the same amount of touchdowns, but the defense still holds the other team to 20 points, under 20 points.
I think you're probably pining for Russ, at that point, or at least want to see what he has, right? I don't know, Jonathan, what do you think? You've been quiet over there.
I agree with that point. If Justin Fields plays this game, starts this game, and finishes this game, and it's an 18-15 final, you probably wake up the next morning as a Steelers fan saying, yeah, we won, but it doesn't feel as euphoric as it does to put up 37 points.
Yes.
This is a game.
Time.
If the Jets put up 24 or 27 points in this game and Justin Fields plays, it's 24-18, 27-18.
And the Jets are a top 5 defense?
I was going to say the
Top
Jets
3?
are no slouch on defense.
No.
So this is a very good defensive team. The Steelers put up almost 40 points yesterday. Those are games when you have another team score 5 touchdowns against you. You got to get something out of the offense.
Yeah.
And Wilson was able to do that.
Yeah. I mean,
it was slow for a couple of quarters, I'll give you that.
But you had to knock the rust
halftime
off.
adjustments. Okay,
Yeah.
we got this now. And he said it himself. He hit that first touchdown pass to Pickens in the corner, and he said, okay, I remember this. I feel this now.
Yeah. And they even mentioned on the broadcast, this was Wilson's first game since Christmas Eve last year. So you're talking about almost a year that he's been out. So you think, okay, yeah, of course you got to knock some rust off.
Sure.
He hasn't really played all year. He got hurt in the first practice and training camp.
Yeah.
If you look at it that way, he knocked the rust off pretty quickly. I'm not saying Fields is a bad quarterback, because I've been banging the drum. I'm like Isaac. I've been banging the drum on Fields all year. But I wanted to see Russ in this system, and I think it works exactly like you said. It's that old Seattle style offense. The play action worked perfectly. You go look at the pass charts. He spread the ball all over the field. I mean, and we talked about the Steelers needing a receiver. Pickens got 5 for 111. Freiermuth 2 for 51. Calvin Austin had 1 for 36. Darnell Washington, I love watching that guy catch a ball. 4 for 36. Van Jefferson 2 for 15. Warren 2 for 15. Yeah, I mean, if you can spread the ball like that and give Van Jefferson a touchdown, yeah, I think you deserve to be the starter.
And I really like the rushing between the two running backs.
Yeah.
Harris with 21 carries, Warren with 12 carries. That's a good balance.
So here's where I want to wrap this up. I will no longer, and hold me to this, I will no longer doubt Mike Tomlin as a head coach. At this point, I think he's earned it. Let him do what he's going to do. Paul disagrees with me, but I'm going to just choose to believe him, because every time I doubt him, something happens. We'll see where I'm at next week. I might be.
I was just going to say, I'll see you in week 16 or 17. Tomlin's an idiot.
I might be doing that. But hey, right now, looking at that end of season schedule, it looks like 11 wins coming for Pittsburgh again this week. That's it. Erie, thanks for joining us today. My name is Nick Artman, signing off. That's it. We're done. Have fun.
When it comes to money,